Hello, welcome back. My name is Dr. George Mochocki, and guess what? We're starting week 3. Very good. This week we're going to have 4 chapters. The next couple of weeks we're going to have 4 chapters, so I'll allow you to have some time to do the final paper. So this will work out well. These are 4 easy chapters, easy reading, and you'll have your exam too, which helps you prepare for the final exam. I think the class is down to like 11 or 12 students, which is good because the class started off with 15, so we're down to about 11 or 10 students, give or take. Depends what happens with the drop date. But that's all right because we have the interaction. Remember, the classes, the new online classes that the College of Lake County is offering. This is Business 121 online. Basically set up so there'll be more interaction with the instructor and the student on online. So your discussion board replaces your lectures within the classroom. Excuse me, I've got a little cough, so I'll be coughing a little bit, but then excuse me on that. All right, so let's see what we have for week 2. This is going to be like 10, 15 minutes. Just to let you know, last week you all did well. Most of you did very well on the exams. Overall, I still think I have my B's and A's. I got a couple of C's because they either forgot the discussion board. The discussion board, they're not very complicated. You post your response to me, you talk to other individuals, and you should do well. It gives you it gives you some points to add on. The Learn Smart, you have to be doing the Learn Smarts. Don't try to do them all at one time. Remember, I adjusted them so it'll be very manageable for this 8-week class. Remember, this is a 16-week class condensed to 8 weeks. So you have to do the same amount of work or close enough to the same amount of work as one would be doing in a face-to-face class or an online class. Sometimes I'll teach just a full 8 weeks. So what do we have? We're going to be covering Chapter 7, Management Leadership, Chapter 8, Adapting Organization to Today's Environment. And you can look at what happened to like Sears and Kmart. They basically didn't adapt as the environment changed. Walmart is trying to adapt, and if you look at listen to the papers, or even if you're looking something on YouTube, or some of the however you get your information is basically on what do you call it, on a virtual platform. They're not adapting too well, so they're kind of the shares are sinking. Selling a lot of stores, but in the flip side, Amazon is adapting real quickly. They've got everything all online. Amazon picked up Whole Foods, and Whole Foods is part of their logistic strategy to bring groceries back in. So who does that scare? It scares more like the Walmart, who already has a good, it's taking over some of the other grocery store chains like Mariano's and Jewel. For if you're in this area up here, or Kruger's, if you're down more south. So they're the ones that are looking, wait, what's going on with Amazon here? And Amazon is expanding. They're adjusting. They already understand the online market. Now they want to start getting a brick and mortar if they want to go into the groceries, because you have to deliver. You want freshness, and you have to deliver right away. So you can see how companies adjust. Okay, so they're adapting, and other companies have to adapt also. And how to produce goods and services. And Amazon is probably the leader on that. Google's kind of coming into this with some kind of a process similar to Alexis. So Google has its own similar kind of voice activated system that you could it gives you other information, added value, but it's basically there to sell their products online. Okay, and then how to motivate employees. What you're learning today when you're reading the chapters and how to motivate employees. And remember, all my lectures are always in there, so look at them first. Print out my mind maps, my concept maps, look at the PowerPoints, and little at a time. My recorded lectures are in MP3 format, so you don't have to look at the pictures. Some students just download that and listen to them when they're driving. It's like reading a book, audio book, only through. And the author provides you a lot of other tools other than what I assign you when you go into my Learnsmart homework. Instead of going back to Blackboard, go click on the top where it says homepage, and that's the homepage of McGraw-Hill. That's a publisher who maintains the Learnsmart Connect software, and they have flashcards. They have a lot of other stuff. They have the PowerPoints, everything else you could either download on your smartphone. And College Lake County also has an app just strictly for Blackboard that you could click on and you could get some of the options. If you're doing the discussion board, those apps are pretty good. But if you're going to be doing the exams, make sure you're on the regular mainframe computer or your laptop tied into the internet, because remember, an app is basically a smaller version of the full program, so you may not have all the features or all the buttons as you would if you're on your laptop or on a mainframe. Okay? So here's what we have for this week. Click on week two. I still left week 2 open. Week 1 is already closed off. You missed that. It's gone. Week week 3. Come on. You only have of lectures, maybe 5. 4 more weeks. 5. And then you find an exam and everything else. So you almost had to the halfway mark. You're doing well. Hang in there. A lot of you have already been online. For some of you, this is the first time. Remember, I also teach the same course with a blended, which is half online and half in the classroom for those who aren't that familiar with online classes. In case you just happen to open up this YouTube at the College Lake County, I teach at another school. If I'm in Cook County, I teach at Harper, and same format. Okay, so here's what we have. You have your week 3 exam. I already had that open. I'm not going to wait till Wednesday. Some students will email me, see, could I look at it now? I've already done my Learnsmart in advance. Remember, all your Learnsmart homework, you click on the link, and I have them all. Those who want to work ahead, read ahead, and a lot of students do that. They boom, boom, they get them done, and they have that information. It's one thing you have done. If you have the time, you're off on vacation, or for some reason you have your schedule gives you some flexibility, or that next week is going to be a real hectic schedule for whatever reason, I'm going to be out of town or have to do something, I could catch up or do my Learnsmarts in advance. The forum discussion boards, you have to wait till the week opens up, and some of the interactive homework assignments has to be for that week. But that's one less thing you have to do. Okay, so we're back into our weekly homework assignment. We're in week 3. You have your test is already open. You have 40 questions worth 100 points. I've extended the time a little bit more so you'd have enough time to work on the exam. So you could do well. Okay. You learn smart. These are just basically links to in here. So if you could either come in here or in here as you're taking this class or other classes utilizing Blackboard Course Management System, I'd make this one-stop shopping. So for those of you who aren't familiar with online, you just come into your weekly assignments, and I have the link so you could go directly into that. Okay, now remember, for those, most of you already got all your Learnsmart, made your first homework assignment, so you're already paired with this class. So if you're using McGraw-Hill's app, you could go in there, do the homework, and it's already paired to Blackboard. Okay, so you got the discussion board. Now this week's discussion board. I'll extend it till Wednesday because there's a day off we have on Monday. The college is closed, so this will work well for you. So you have the Wednesday to do your first poll. You're going to have 2 forums. The first forum is the regular forum that we normally do, and the second forum is what I consider. Here, let me just click on it. You can click on here. So your first forum, you have to look at the assessments. Now, how you find your assessments? Let me go back in here. Before you go into the discussion board, you're in week 3, right? You're in here. You're going to have, before you have 2 things to accomplish. You have these 3 assessments, real easy assessment. Take you 10 minutes off. And remember, I don't want to just be that you're just doing homework and tests and not really interacting and learning something out of class. You have to understand the content material. That's what this course is about. It's like a vocabulary concept, no way around it. You're learning a new language in business. This class, again, I reinforce, is a survey class or like a smorgasbord. Each one of the chapters are full 16-week courses. Accounting, we do it in 1 week, or like here we're doing 3 chapters this week. Chapter 7, 8, 9, and 10. 4 chapters, excuse me, and all 4 each one of those chapters are full 16-week courses. It's just a quick overview at the high level, so you understand. A business. How do I do it? What do I look like? How do I become flexible? How do I motivate employees? What you learn about motivating employees is the same thing how you motivate customers. Maslow, Herzberg, and I have full hour videos going into detail, utilize my concept maps. So on this one here, Entrepreneur Assessments, you click on here, and I always provided you the link. If not, let me know. Here's the link. So if I click on this assessment, it's going to come in here, And all you have to do is just answer the question, blah, blah, blah. And then after you finish answering the questions, uh, uh, post your score on there. It just do you have the ability of being an entrepreneur? Now, what you want to understand, just to focus in real quickly, the same traits and attributes that an entrepreneur has are similar traits and attributes that you need to be a manager or a leader or of a business. I have to be self-starting. I have to be one that likes to solve problems. I have to be able to work with customers or my team. You know what I mean? So if I'm looking at an entrepreneur and a leader or a small business, you have to have those traits. Okay, so and remember, what I ask you is after you do the assessment, do you agree with your score? Post a score up there. Say I got a 20 or I got a 90. I agree with this the assessment. I don't agree. These are only like 10 questions. Usually, if you'd be doing, I teach HR, human relations, and the assessments would be longer. These are just mini assessments. So when you have to do them at work for promotion, or if you're applying for a job for sales or HR to make you do some kind of assessments because you have so many people applying for that position. So you focus in and see what question. And the assessments, we're all unique. We're all different. You may score poorly or you may score real well. It's just a quick snapshot. You could go to the career center at College Lake County or your community college, and they have full blown assessment to say, will you do well in that? You remember, an assessment is just taking an average or a generalization of what majority of people would score on. So now you can say, oh man, I didn't do good on the assessment, but I am an entrepreneur. I have those leadership skills. So look at the questions, how you respond to them. You have to think about them. They usually don't time you on the assessments at work. They're just trying to weed out people who may not have those attributes or skill sets or show those attributes or skill sets, okay? So you do that one. The next one is corporate preference, and it's basically going to look like it's going to look at do you like to be in a control organization? Do you like to be in a performance type of an organization? So it has 4 different assessments. But understand, no matter where you fall into that assessment, it's going to look at a score. What you have to understand is that all companies, all those 4 different type of assessments or areas that they're going to look at, all corporations have to have them. All business, small to large. It depends which ones you favor more. If I'm more of a performance, I'm more very goal oriented. If I'm more of a team or working with people, customer service. So I need all of them, but I have more of a preference over one over the other. So do those assessments, and do you have what it takes to be a leader? And remember, one thing with a lot of people, or even like an instructor or a leader, where a lot of people think of, I want my team to like me. Look, if I'm a leader, if I want you to like me, I won't make you do anything you don't like, so I'm not an effective leader. You have to be able to get respect from individual, whether they like you or not. It's all into respect. And how do I get respect? I'm honest. I treat all individuals the same. I focus in on what the issue is. I tell you what the issues is. So you respect me. You may not like what I have to do, because sometimes I give you a task. I don't like to talk in front of people. I don't like to do cold call. Hey, I don't care if you like it. You have to do it because it's part of your job requirement. It's how I bring customers in. I have to be able to communicate, collaborate with not only new customers but with people within the team, with outside the team. So those are leadership skills. So you look at them and don't feel bad with the score. You see which areas you may need to have additional classes for, or you might have not answered the questions on the assessments. Remember, these are only 10, 20 questions. Shouldn't take you more 5, 10 minutes. Is just to go part of the discussion board so we could tie in. I do the same thing in my face-to-face class, in my blended class. They do the discussion and then we talk. So here we're doing it in a virtual classroom, and you post it. I may respond to it, but it's more of other people within the class, within this virtual classroom. It's a nice small net, almost like you would be looking as a team size, how to communicate with them and give them your feedback. Okay? All right, so you have that. So those are the 3 assessments. Let me go back into week 3. The other thing before you go into the discussion board, there's 2 parts. So the first one, you're going to do the assessments. You're going to go under, post your score. And in the subject area, you're going to write, this is part 1, my assessments. Here's how I did. Boop. I did overall well, I need some improvement here, whatever. And you post that. And then you reply to other people's assessment and see how they did. Give them some feedback. Give them some support. I didn't do good. Say, hey, that's okay. I didn't do well either. But here's what you need. Or I scored weak in this area. Here's what I think you should do to improve on that, okay? And now the other thing, since we're in leadership, and I focus more on women in leadership, the same traits that apply to women or men. You know, men are more aggressive, more right to the point, where women, and I'm not stereotyping, I'm generalizing because I teach courses on leadership, and there are more and more women are going up in a position. The glass ceiling is getting higher and higher. Eventually, there won't be any glass ceiling. It'll be equality for both. Right now, it's not there. It's about 80% to 90% is still that glass ceiling. But ladies, you are making strive coming in there, and for some of those doors open, whether you like it or not, it has to be the male, because if I'm a predominantly male organization, I say I need more women in there, because women, you have the traits, you have that collaboration trait, you already work well, those are your natural traits. You know, I'm not, generalizing, not stereotyping. And men, we're more aggressive, assertive, very long-term focused. And ladies, you had to pick up both. So when I was in the corporate world, I had to take workshops. If you look at the Bully Broad videos, they're looking at if you come across too aggressive, and that could pertain also for the men. And the same thing when you look at Ms. Sandberg talking about sitting at the table. The same thing applies to men. Are you okay? But she's basically generalizing, looking to women, how to get them so they show those attributes that a manager is looking for before they promote you. They're looking for certain attributes that you are at your current position. You want to go longer, you got to start thinking strategically. You have to think out of the box. You have to be a little more creative. People say, well, they'll laugh at me. They're going to laugh at you anyway. Creativity is not artistic. Creativity is thinking out of the box. How do I resolve this issue out of the norm? Still legal, still ethical. Yeah, the other chapters down the road. Okay, so you look at these two videos. Remember, and here's these two videos, and post your comments in Forum 1. These are the three videos in Forum 2. Okay. I don't know what I did. Oh, okay. So here's the one, Bully Broad's 5 minutes, the other one's only 15 minutes. Very eye-opening, another way to think. Remember, as a supervisor, I'm gonna if I think you're a slacker, you're not a good planner, you're not a good organizer, as an individual, am I gonna try to think of promoting you as a supervisor or a first line manager or even a middle manager if you can't plan, organize your own daily? And now you're gonna have 20, 30 as a middle manager or even more direct reports. There's no way in heck I'm going to do that. It's not only me, it's other companies. So you have to start, how do I exhibit this? What do I do? How do I ask for additional work so I get my name out there? So people say, I got these skill sets. I may not have the best, but I'm already have them in my position. So now I'm going to say, hey, he or she's already exhibiting some of them. If I promote them, I could work with them. If you're not exhibiting them at all, there's no way I'm going to take that gamble on you. Good? Okay, so we're going back in here. I'm trying to keep this under 10 minutes, okay? So now we're in our weekly exercise, remember? And I've got the video. A little slow here. Okay? You always got your Learnsmarts. I've got them ahead. Here's your link. You collect them, do them for the chapter. If I got the dates on them, I think I gave you the Saturday or Friday to do these. You've got your discussion board. You have two of them. Remember, when you look at you look at the assessments. You already did them. Print them out. You look at the videos. Print them out. And remember, don't try to do them all at one time. You got a little time between class. You're at lunch. Everyone's got a smartphone. Even at your supervisor, say, "I'm going to school. Is it okay if I utilize the computer? I'm not surfing the net. I'm trying to do my homework." Most employers will allow you to do homework or some of your things at the work. If they say no, don't argue with them. Do it on your smartphone and your lunchtime or something else. But they'll give you time. Here's your break. You could do that. Because they know if you advance and you have an associate degree or you have a new talent. Some of you may be taking this class because it's what do you call it? You're lacking a class going for your master's, or you've already got your bachelor's in liberal arts, and now you want to take some other courses to expand you know, to be more marketable. So take the class. You may not be going for the full associate degree, but the class you have it, you just write it down as additional learning. I took this a course at an associate level. I got my B, my A, and everything else as a training, is so I could advance and doing professional growth and put that in your resume. What happens is when you put stuff in your resume, it shows me as an employer or HR human relations, they're looking at this individual receives his bachelor's or whatever. Now they're taking other classes and they're trying to expand and improve on their performance or what do they call it, other areas that I want to expand on. So you're continually learning. Everyone's learning. Most organizations are continuous learners. Organization had to adapt to the environment. You know, the chapter talked about mechanistic and organic. Think of mechanistic like a robot. They don't change. Very hard to change your car. There's what you have. That's what you have. The newer model has a little more features. A computer is kind of mechanistic but kind of organic because I could put more memory. I could add more software. You know what I mean? And that's how you have to look at it. I have the basics. Now I'm adding more information to expand my growth and my knowledge. So now I'm more productive, more efficient. I have new talents, new ways of looking at things because I'm increasing, advancing my professional growth. And so I have other opportunities. Companies love that. It shows that you're continually working. I mentioned before, I go to see my physician. I look at his degrees or her degrees on the wall, and the last time they were in school in 1975. That's good. But now this is 2018 or 2017. Man, they got like a 10-year gap. Have the current of what's going on, technology, medical, new procedures, new ways of doing it. They're still a good doctor, but they understand other things that make their job more proficient and reduces the pain or do you see what I'm talking about? So if I had a doctor in 1975, is he or she current with today's technology and what's actually out there available to satisfy my needs? And companies are always adjusting. Remember mechanistic like that? Organics like a flower. If it's hot, it withers. If it rains, it grows. If it's too windy, it blows over. So it adjusts. Look at your plant. You know, water, it withers. So an organic organization, one that's actually looking at the environmental forces and also internal forces, and how do I adjust to be more sustainable, more effective, more proficient, and keep my costs down and able to satisfy my customer needs, because this is my customer base is changing. They're expecting more. You see what Amazon is doing? They already got the market and everything else on the online. Other companies are trying to catch up with them. Google's trying to partner with Walmart. Walmart's already got the grocery market. Now Amazon's going into their playing field, for lack of better words, by picking up Whole Foods. They got a distribution, plus they got the organic. Everyone wants to be organic, but I go organic. There's certain things I like organic, other things I might not. Or Whole Foods, they're slashing the prices, they're making it more competitive. Now Whole Foods going to be, because it's part of Amazon organization, for lack of better words, and now it's adjusting to its market. They've got the expertise, they got the online, and that's what's worrying Walmart mostly, because they're in that market, and now so they're trying to say, how do I get the online? That's just how it works. And that's what you're learning in this class. It's interesting. It's exciting. Come on, and you're learn. It's all. I know it's a lot coming at you. You'll do well in this class. Okay. So you've got that discussion looked at, and so the second part, after you look at the videos for the women in the leadership, remember it also pertains to the gentlemen. Just think it out that way, but basically focuses on ladies, because to be a little more aggressive, but not too aggressive, so you don't become a bully. Broad men were too, to us, we're not aggressive, we're assertive, but sometimes we'd be maybe too assertive. How do we become a little bit more feeling and showing, building that relationship, that collaboration, that is for in a nutshell, women are more team oriented and already exhibit those skill sets. Okay, so you write part 2 Here's what I think about the two videos. I agree with this. I don't agree with this. I think, are you okay? And just think about your other supervisor. Some of you are going to be in that position. So always look at it. How's my supervisor doing this? Or what's going on there? Just so you understand it. And then you'll take a full course on management or leadership or supervision, which I teach here at the college or at another school or at your community college. So you understand the difference. Good? Okay, let me go back here in week 3. What else do we have? So you have that. You have your Learnsmarts. You do this. Oh, and here you have a water cooler. This one's real easy 3-point. You don't have to respond to too many students. I want you to post. I have some questions. I don't have some questions. Post it to me. If I don't get to you right away, because I'm picking up another class, another instructor, so he asked me to pick up another class. I'm trying to get that done. So I try to respond to your questions. But if you know the answers by looking at my YouTubes or other things that I have, respond to other people. That's how you build your network. And this one's real quick points. You say, I have a question, I don't have a question, or what about this, or what about this? And if someone else in the class knows it, respond. But if you don't respond, you lose the point. These are extra credit points. If you don't respond, you get a 0, but 0 out of 0 is nothing, doesn't affect your grade. If you respond, you get 3 points. If you help somebody else, I may give you a couple extra points. But I know the answer, okay? So now we're going to go back into our weekly assignments. And I think I have that. Remember, you've got my mind maps. Print them out. That's the first tier. When you listen to my YouTube or reading a book or doing a connect, add them in. The more senses you involve, the better you have in long-term retention. So when you take a marketing class, you at least understand how this all fits. Your PowerPoints, these are PowerPoints from a publisher. You could I connected the links here for you, but you could also find them in your Learnsmart McGraw-Hill. Like I said, when you click on the homework assignment, instead of going back to Blackboard, you go into my home page and they have all resources for you. And these are my YouTubes, remember? So you can come here. I just got the link in here, and you got all my chapters. You're reading ahead. You can click on them. It tells you how long. And most of them have been updated within a year. Some are more current. Let's see what else we have. Dr. George lectures, back in weekly assignment. And then you have my concept maps, okay? And your exam 1 is ready. That's it. I think you're doing well. The students are here. I got B's and A's. I think you're doing good. I got 1C. Just because you missed the discussion board, don't try to miss them. And on just the discussion boards, I expect you to post something. I'm looking not only at how many posts. I got 20 posts. And you only got, yeah, I agree. I'm looking at a little more content. Try to start using some of the business terms and concepts you read in the chapter pertaining to the discussion board. That's how you learn the vocabulary. That's how you learn the different concepts. And that's how when you're talking to other business individual, they could tell this person has a business understanding, not even to new clients, customers, or even your peers, your supervisor at work. And once in a while, if you're not familiar with some of the concept, ask your supervisor. If it has something to do with HR, ask them. Hey, that's a nice way of talking to them without trying to say, hey, look, I'm going to college. I'm taking this class. I'm taking this class with Dr. George Mochocki. Man, I don't understand this. Could you give me an idea on this? Well, do managers do this? Or, a marketing class. Even if you're not in there, they're willing to help you. Now you made that contact. You're trying to build a network. That's why the discussion board is so important, or forum. I go discussion forum. In the grades, you'll see DB, it means discussion board. So you make your connections. You meet a lot of people. Try to update your profile, because like at business, like I says in my Outlook and everything else, my picture got to be in there so people know who I am. A lot of times I use Skype or FaceTime. That's the interaction. This is the new world. This is the technology. Don't try to hide. You have to be out there. Those who can open up your own businesses. Hi, I'm George. A lot of people look at my YouTubes. They'll take me online, or they sign up to the class. That's how I get my classes usually always filled. If you look and rate my instructor, they say Dr. George is an easy grader. Dr. George is an easy grader if you do all the work. You don't do the work, boom. Very objective. The paper, some of the stuff is subjective. But the reason I make you do all these other things, so you'll get your B as in your A. Similar that if you're working for me, I may be a good speaker, but I'm a terrible writer. I may be a good speaker or dealing with individuals, but terrible with teams. So I don't grade you on just one aspect. I look at the whole person. The reason you're going to school is so you have that whole We build the whole individual. So when a lot of companies hire you, I got an associate. I'm at a graduate of high school. Some high schools, you barely made it. You still can't read. You don't know how to research. If you graduate from the College of Lake County or most of the community colleges, you already know how to research. You know how to do your writings improved. You know how to interact with individuals. You know how to do presentations. You are already about 20%. You should get a 20% higher raise than somebody that just only has college. Remember, you're a product or service yourself. When I'm hiring someone, I've got 20 individuals that finally made the pull, and 10 of them have a associate degree, and 10 only have a high school. I'm going to go with the ones with the associate. They're all equal except for that. I get more for my value. Okay? All right, so I'll see you in this week's discussion. Hang in there. You're in week 3. Next week will be week 4, halfway through. Remember, you're getting the same. I have to expose you to the same material that you would in a 16-week course. We're doing an 8-week course, like a summer class in the fall or spring if you're taking me. Or if you're taking me in the summer, that's what you're doing. You're condensing it, but you'll be able to complete your degree in a shorter period of time. Some students like the 8-week courses because they could take 8 weeks of me, 8 weeks with another instructor, put it together. Instead of taking me the traditional 3 years to go with a 16-week, I could bring it down to a year and a half by taking 8-week courses. And the colleges, not only here, but other schools, adjust to different individuals. And, if you're taking me online, some of you are traveling all over. You got, because of your job or because of home requirements, you have to be at home. You got family that you're taking care of, so you do your work at nighttime. That's the flexibility of an online class. But you have to be, you're like an entrepreneur leader. You have to be self-motivated. So, on my calendar, on Monday, I'll do this, set some time away. If you're taking other classes that you do your online work, Monday and Wednesday and Saturday, so you're not doing it all at one time. It's just too hard to do. Same in the business world. I can't do all my projects at once. Like, I don't have all the information. I do a little here, a little here, a little here. So when they all come at the end, like most of you are full-time students or even part-time students carrying, 3 or 4 classes, when it comes at the end, you have most of the stuff done. Remember, the discussion boards going forward are working for your feasibility paper or the market or something else. They're going to be, you have to write like an action plan, for lack of better words, and we're developing this now. So the more you put into your discussion board, the more you write about it, the more you could cut and paste that. You'll start saving a file and, somebody told me about this in discussion, somebody told me about this, and start putting it underneath the 7 headers that are required that you see in a major paper. So open up your folder and say, George's Hot Dog Stand, you have 7 headers, boom, boom, and just throw stuff in like you're ready to do it. And then when you're ready to write the paper, you have all the components. Now you're just bringing it up, making it flow in proper English, proper grammar. Those of you posting on in the discussion boards, provided not to utilize all lowercase. The more you write properly now and cut and paste that into your Word document, the less you have to do later on. All right, I'll see you in week 4, chapter 3 into the discussion board. If you have no questions in the cooler, just say no questions so I know you've looked at it. And, still monitor it. You may be able to, you may not have no questions, just like you do on Twitter. You don't have to respond to everybody. But, just in the water cooler one. The other ones you have to respond to. I'm looking about at least 4 of the students within the week. Not all in one day, just downloading. And you have no question, but somebody else may ask a question. Man, I didn't think about that question. I'd see what my response is. All right? So, again, you're hanging in there. You're doing well. Your overall current grade is there. I also got on the side your percentage of, that's your current percentages. Down the road, when I come to the end, I got to convert everything else to grades because that's how I submit this a Blackboard course to the registrar for your final grade. Do the homework. Do the Learnsmart. Look at my YouTubes. Not all at once or listen to them. And when you're ready for the final exam, you'll do well in this class. Again, and you say, well, there's a lot of work. Where do you take me to face-to-face class online? For this introduction to business, it's the same format, the same exams, the same similar. Some students, some instructors may do like a formal stock project, but it still is equivalent to what you're doing here. Okay, exams, discussion, everything else. So I'll see you in week 3. enjoy your day off. That's why I was kind of holding off. I think tomorrow's a day off, so enjoy it, and then I'll see you in the discussion board. Start posting your stuff. Don't wait on me, and then I'll start posting on individual within the week, and you'll get your full discussion board points, similar to like coming to class. Goodbye. And I enjoy talking to you. I'm learning a lot from this class. I hope you learned the same here. And the videos are excellent. Okay, that didn't work. So let's see what we have there. Oh, okay.